I want the best equipment. I don't want to die, but I don't want to miss this opportunity. So here I go again on my own. Just how I roll. I'll leave that heap of mess. Then I run around and get serious about getting serious. You guys want to hear this. I want you to come in that door. You didn't make a mistake, buddy. Clear and cut mistake. It's alright. I know you did your best. Your best just ain't good enough. Your best just ain't good enough, homie.
Red team go, red team go. Cutting now to Cliff High.
Don't all that shim. Cliff's getting me real worked up right here.
Okay, so
You understand?
all of this here in this structure, and the hyperspace structure is important. We need to do some discussions about hyperspace as a technology, how to interact with other beings there, not necessarily blowing your mind with psychedelics. I've got some thoughts on that. But right now we want to talk about Horus's eye as a function of space alien technology. Okay, so my old fart group, these old bastards that are just dinking around looking at stuff, one of them found this symbol, and
Go have a look at it.
I won't go into where.
Why not?
Geographically or from what language, okay?
Oh, you better than me?
At the moment, it's his to deal with and so on. He doesn't mind if I discuss it because he's much more involved with some other stuff. But this particular symbol, I was taken because of how it resembled this. Then we started investigating this symbol relative to the other symbols within the document that upon which it is found, and we find that a lot of those symbols seemingly are related to the mind-to-machine interface stuff that I've discovered through Patanjali's yoga, also into Chinese literature, and we see it's in the Torah, all of these different kinds of references to putting humans to work, driving these machinery that we don't have anymore, right? And so The mind-to-machine interface stuff I ran into also included this section about in this old form of Sanskrit. I'm using AI to get at it. It's a royal pain in the ass in so many ways you wouldn't believe to deal with the current AI in dealing with all of this stuff, because it always continuously wants to reinforce the religious narrative, right? And I want to examine this with that narrative stripped away to see what is actually being discussed. And so if you do that to this symbol, you find out some very interesting things. This Eye of Horus relates to the brain. It relates to the human brain being used with these mind-machine interfaces. And this particular symbol here that has been found by my colleague in this little group.
When they hold the staffs and you see the depiction of them holding the staffs, those are different parts of your brain or your spinal column.
In this ancient script-based encoding, we don't know if we're talking language, if it's just signage or whatever. This and a number of other symbols appear to be related to giving humans gold, which is how we found this symbol, in order that this part of the brain might be more active relative to the mind-machine interface and thus do more work for the aliens, okay? And so within the structure of our looking for things, we came across, relative to the mind-to-machine stuff, we came across this symbol in another number of different forms, including a form that you find in Mesoamerica, okay? So whoever was doing this, there was cross-cultural contact between Mesoamerica and the Middle East up through into Iran during the time that this symbol was being put on walls and shit. We think, I do anyway, that this symbol here, I mean, you can see how there's various different glands within the brain that are represented by this, the structure of the brain here, how this ties into this particular part of the brain there. The Eye of Horus is actually the hypothalamus. We see this thing here connected to symbols that sort of refer to the middle part of this, right? And so it's not quite the Eye of Horus, but that's what I thought I was seeing initially when it was presented in this document. And I had this guy say, I told him, scroll back, what was that we were looking at? And then he explained, well, this was like one of 13 or 14 out of this long scroll thing, symbols that there was no phonemes for within this particular translation of this particular language. And they thought it might have been punctuation. They weren't sure what the fuck it was. But if you took all of these things together and put them together, you had a structure that was very much like what we see in the lid of Palenque, where you see the Mesoamerican guy in the headdress that's apparently lying on his back driving some kind of a vehicle that looks like it's being powered by rockets. These symbols in that document had that same impression. And so we started looking in some of these kind of things. What we found along the way, though, was, and the whole point of all of this, and I'm going to get back to work here, is that there's a connection between hypernovelty that's upcoming and our hypothalamus, okay? It is feasible to think that the hypothalamus, the little tiny juncture of the two halves of the brain, forms an internal gateway, this kind of thing, to psychic ability, to being able to pick up the psychic field itself. If you look at the hypothalamus if you were to look at this symbol here in 3 dimensions, you might see it as something like this, with both halves of it, like...
Boom, mind clip.
Only $5.
Clip blows your mind. That's what he does. He blows your mind. Blows my mind. I want to be an Egyptian. Egyptian. Dang it.
No. No. I want to be a male Egyptian. Here?
I want to be a male Egyptian. Hey, you got a problem? Must have thought I was a chick due to my luscious hair. You know? What do you think? I don't fucking appreciate that shit. Matter of fact, you'd be bald headed.
Hey, you want to feel suffering? Do you want to feel pain? Do you want to rub my head? For luck. So listening to Cliff High is great. You should listen to Cliff High, because he's awesome. But I've been doing some of that stuff myself with the hyperspace language. And it does work. It does work. Will it alleviate depression? Perhaps. Perhaps we shall see. Let us see.